It's time for this week's View from the Sideline. Here's Bryan Burchfield.
It's time for this week's View from the Sideline, my weekly interview segment with players and coaches from the Sweetwater Wildcat football team. Joining this week, assistant coach and Sweetwater athletic director Mike Martin. Mike, how you doing?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming by and spending a few minutes with us this week on View from the Sideline. First, I want to ask you, how rewarding has it been from your standpoint as an athletic director and as assistant coach to see this football program take the step forward that it has this season?
Well, it's been very rewarding, and most of all for our kids and our student body. Anytime you're in the position that we're in as an athletic director and assistant principal, you always want the best for your student athletes. And this is my third year in this job, and you come in and you kind of have a plan, and it'll take some time, and we know a lot of times patience is needed. And we've kind of been digging out of a hole, and I thought last year, Coach E's first year, he laid a good foundation, and those kids kind of understood where he was at and coming from, and I think this year has been just a carryover from that.
Your opinion, you mentioned Coach E there and the plan, but outside of that, what are some other things that you feel have caused this program to take a step forward this season?
Well, just overall the improvement of, just our attitudes. I'm a believer in it. It doesn't matter what type of athlete you have. If they don't have the good attitudes, they're going to struggle. And I think our student athletes could see last year that, that team last year, that it was headed in the right direction. And I think that we had another thing on our football team is we had a lot of returning players with experience, and I think that showed this year. And once you get some confidence and you get a few wins, I know early in the year we talked about winning on the road at Rockwood. It hadn't been done in a while for Sweetwater, beating the Loudon team, beating a Sequoia team. And I think it's just given us confidence, and that's why they're in the position they are now.
Sweetwater Athletic Director and Assistant Football Coach Mike Martin, our guest on this week's View from the Sideline. Across the athletic department as a whole, we've begun seeing these teams become more competitive and start to really build up under the leadership of yourself and Mr. Weaver, and you've got some great young coaches over there. Talk about how these programs are starting to come back and the plan and some things y'all have put in place to maybe make that happen.
Right. Well, I hope a lot of people see that. I'll say right now we've been very pleased with our coaches, and not only their X's and O's, but we've got people in place that are going to try to mentor kids to be great young adults, are going to impress upon them to take care of their classroom business, and the athletic part just comes. The big thing we're seeing right now is we think we've got in place are coaches that care about kids. I truly believe that coaching is one of the most important jobs in America today, due to the lack of direction maybe elsewhere. Coaches have the opportunity to impress upon young minds, and I just think our coaches, I'm tickled to death at Sweetwater High School right now. Does that mean we're going to win every game? Absolutely not. Does that mean we're going to be disappointed sometimes? Absolutely, just like we were last Friday. But I'll touch on that too. What people didn't see in that game was the way our kids and our coaching staff handled themselves. We got a good old whipping. And that's what we got. This good old tail whipping, and our kids. I'm not going to say anything bad about anyone else, but our kids could have taken exception to some of the things that went on up there as far as Knox Grace, and I thought our kids handled it well. Our coaching staff handled it well. Sometimes you get a tail whipping, and you just got to bounce back, and that's what we've tried to do this week.
After you took the athletic director position over at Sweetwater, you kind of stepped away from coaching, and you've come back this year as an assistant. Tell us about that. You couldn't stay away?
Well, I tell you what, sometimes I think, what was I thinking? But once I get back out on the field every day, when I'm worn out at 4 o'clock after bus duty and I get out there, it's worth it. I'm really glad I made the decision. To be totally honest with you, My family played a big role in it. They said, "Hey, if you're going to be there, why don't you try to coach?" And I said, "Well, I may try to get back in it then." But I've enjoyed it. I love to get out there and run around and holler and just try to work with kids. And it's been a blessing for me to get back out there. But it was good for me to step away for a couple of years, just to be honest with you. But I'm tickled to death that I was able to come back this year.
Sweetwater Athletic Director and Assistant Football Coach Mike Martin, our guest on this week's View from the Sideline. And Coach, one thing we want to talk about that you've had to deal with this football season as an athletic director, and we've done our best on our radio broadcast to get the word out so people know, but it's this final game, what was going to be the final game of the season on October the 28th, hosting Tennessee Christian. Of course, that didn't work out. That's now going to be a forfeit win for the Wildcats. But just talk about how that kind of went down and what you all tried to do to resolve that, and why it ended up the way it ended up.
Well, I can't go back. It was right before the season started. I was actually having supper with my family at a restaurant, and I was on my phone, and somebody texted me and said Tennessee Christian had just canceled their football program, and I hadn't received a call from anyone, so I started calling some people I know that I knew that were playing Tennessee Christian, and they said, yeah, they were hearing the same thing. So I made a few calls. I think that Monday or Tuesday I reached someone at Tennessee Christian. They had canceled their football program, so we immediately went into a mode of trying to find someone to replace them. I had two responses. One was from a team, Fulton City in Kentucky, and one was in somewhere in Texas, and actually asked us to come to Louisiana and meet them halfway. So
that was a real option.
I think he had an airplane. We don't have an airplane here at Sweetwater High School, but we had the Kentucky deal set, and it was about a 5-hour drive for them, and we were going to work some finances out and give them a little money. And we had it set, but they wanted to play it on a Saturday. That was the only way they would play it, and we drew up the contract, and then I called Nashville, and they gave me the okay. And then I just had a funny feeling about it being the last game of the year and playing on Saturday, because they draw the playoff brackets on Friday night. And so I called Nashville one more time and told them my concern, and they called me back and said that they had overlooked that we could not play it because they draw the playoff brackets, and that, of course, that would not be a district region game, but it would play a part in the overall record. So they would not let us play it, so we had to cancel it. And we did have a contract with Tennessee Christian, and according to the TWSAA rules, if you had a contract, it does go down as a forfeit win, and that's why we were able to get a forfeit win.
Some people hearing that might say, well, big deal. It worked out well. You don't have to play and you get a win, but there's other things involved, like gate and everything like that.
Exactly.
Is there anything that y'all have planned for that night over at Sweetwater to kind of replace some of that?
And we actually haven't. We had actually talked about that, and we've talked about that with people outside. We had and I'm not going to reveal it on air now, but we had a little deal we were going to do, but the timing of it, we didn't get everything finished in time, and that'll come out later. But we'll just use it as an extra week of preparation for our kids for the playoffs, and as far as the extra gate, we'll just have to take that hit and go from there.
It's one of those situations you have to deal with as athletic director. So let's move on from that. It's an explanation there for everybody listening tonight. We'll know what's going on next week. But so you move on. You mentioned the loss last week at Grace in region play. Tonight, homecoming, senior night, in a big Region 2-2A matchup. Still a lot riding on this game tonight, Austin East. Talk about the Roadrunners. They've got a good football team coming in here.
Yeah, absolutely. They're an excellent football team, and they're well coached. They've got a ton of athletes, some big linemen. But our goal stays the same. It's the same as it was last week. If we win this game, we host a playoff game. So. That's still, and the fact it's a region game, so it's a huge it's something big, and they're a very, very talented football team, and we're probably a pretty big underdog going into this thing, but that's why you kick it off at 7:30, and we're just going to see how it goes. But our kids have worked hard this week and bounce back, and not a whole lot of talk about Grace. They know what happened there, and So we focused on Austin East, and we'll see what happens 7:30.
And that's what this game boils down to, is it doesn't change whether Sweetwater's going to be in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Sweetwater's there. It's whether you're going to be hosting or going on the road for the first round of the playoffs. Coach Martin, always a special week, homecoming, and now it's going to be senior night as well. Just a lot of things going on at Sweetwater High School. Talk about what homecoming means, just with all the tradition that is Sweetwater High School.
Well, it's, anytime you say homecoming, you're talking about tradition, and you just use that term. I'm very proud, very blessed to be at Sweetwater High School right now. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's amazing how things have worked out for me. And then when you start talking about high school or Sweetwater High School football and Sweetwater homecoming, it always has a special place in all the alumni that went there. And our kids have participated this week in all kinds of activities, and they're still doing the parade here on Thursday, and it's just something that's very special, and you want to, a lot of people want to try to schedule somebody easy on homecoming. I truly, be honest with you, I've never really cared about that. I like to let's play somebody tough and give our fans, a tight ball game and see if we can win it at the end. But very special time at Sweetwater High School. It's been a great week. Our kids at Sweetwater High School have been excellent. Their participation has been excellent, and I think it'll continue right on through Friday night.
Sweetwater Athletic Director and Assistant Football Coach Mike Martin, our guest on this week's View from the Sideline. Coach, thank you for your time and good luck tonight against Austin East.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to View from the Sideline. The Fairweather Financial pregame show is coming up next.